Hi Denise. Here's that video that I spoke about creating for you for your assignment. So you can see here that I'm able to access your original document. So that should never be an issue. If you do use the notes, I tend to open up the original document to make sure. I think the biggest thing with your assignment that made it a bit difficult to I guess evaluate for all the different content areas is its organization. I had some difficulty in determining how you met all of the different components. So the first one was evolution of technology, and you needed to bring in 3 different points explaining how technology has evolved teaching and learning. So really, 3 main points I should see as to how technology is doing that. So, I see here, and this is where I struggled a little bit as well, you have a quotation mark here. So that tells me that you are about to give me a direct quote, but I don't know where the direct quote ends, and I don't see any citation. So I'm not sure if this is your own words or if this is, if this was an error. But if it is a direct quote, you need to have a beginning quotation mark and an ending quotation mark. So let's just say if this was the end of it, you would have another quotation mark, and then you need to have your citation, which is the author's last name, copyright date, and then the page or paragraph number, and then you would put the period after. So that's how it would look if it was a direct quote, but this threw me off a little bit. And then, so I do see your notes section, but I felt like your content was a little scattered, and it was hard for me to determine exactly how you were showing how technology has evolved teaching and learning. So, you had mentioned here, let's see, about how they had used desktops, but now they're using individual laptops and Chromebooks. So you may want to talk about how technology, like having access to those different digital tools, provides teachers a greater opportunity to differentiate their instruction, or students are now able to work at their own pace versus where before, when we didn't have technology, students, it was kind of more of a one-size-fits-all approach. You mentioned the Google Classroom, which is great. You could also talk about how the testing and assessments, how, now we can do it online as opposed to, or using digital tools, and that actually is really great because it gives instant feedback for teachers, so they don't have to wait a couple of days before they grade to realize that, a student is struggling. And then here you said teachers can communicate with parents through email contact rather than, and then it was cut short, so rather than what? So that's another thing you could talk about in terms of how technology has evolved teaching and learning, because now there's more instant communication between parents and teachers. They're using things like Class Dojo. I know they have some, I guess teachers will have websites or pages about their class to keep in communication. So, when I was reading this part here, I was just having a hard grasp. I was having a hard time seeing how it connected to this point of the evolution of technology. This right here, when you were talking about the New Delhi experiment, that's actually how technology has influenced students to be more independent. So that actually would be more relevant to your last slide. And, again, this is a good point here that technology has changed in the last 50 years and it transformed learning. So it just seems like you're dropping things in instead of using it to support your thinking. So what my suggestion would be is when you're, give you the opportunity to redo this assignment if you want for a better grade, I would just have 3 bullet points here and the keywords about how technology has changed teaching and learning, and then use the notes to talk about each bullet. And so then with this slide, again, I didn't know how it pertained to this. You just said that this Arthur Clarke states that a teacher can be replaced by a machine and should be. And then you just left it at that. So there was no analysis, and again, I'm getting confused with your quotation marks. Where does the direct quote start? Where does it end? You're also missing a copyright date, and if it is a direct quote, where is your page or paragraph number? Same thing here. It's just, again, a drop quote. So this information right here, I didn't quite see how it fit into the evolution of technology. So then the next thing was actually providing examples of how digital tools can be used to support our diverse learners. So here again, what I would have suggested you do is have 3 bullet points of 3 different types of technology examples, and then you can use the notes to talk about each one. So I'm assuming here this is just, I guess, an overview. This isn't really an example, but more about talking about how assistive technologies can maximize student independence. So here you have different devices like the trackpad or trackball, rather than using a mouse. Talk to me about who this is supporting. How is this beneficial for our diverse learners? And same with these two. Again, these are great examples, but explain to me how these examples support our diverse learners. So this section about technology examples, the only thing really lacking was your elaboration on how the examples you've chosen supports the diverse learners. And then the technology influence, this is where you really should connect to those 3 videos that were provided in the assignment instructions, and talking about how technology allows students to be independent in their learning. So in one of the videos, how you had mentioned it in your first slide about the experiment where they just put computers in New Delhi, and the students eventually taught themselves. So those are the kinds of things I'm looking for. And again, I can see your notes here, but again, it just seems a bit scattered. There's not much continuity, which makes it a little difficult for me to figure out, how it addresses this part of the assignment. So now look at these bullet points. Yes, it does make it more interesting. These things are available to them, but how is this making them independent learners? So this section, I would have 3 bullet points about the 3 different videos, because those videos show how students are become independent learners through the technology. And another thing too, I pointed out, you never want to put a URL in a citation. It's always the author's last name, copyright date, and then the page or paragraph number if you're using a direct quote. And again, you've got the first quotation mark here, but I don't know where the other one ends, so I don't know what is and is not your own words. And then your reference page, you never want to list just a URL. What I really suggest you do is go to, the Ashford Writing Center. Let me go here to show you. You go to the Writing Center and you go to Introduction to APA. So it gives you a complete guide of changes, but one thing that I really love here that I encourage all students to use is the view of the APA reference guide. So once that opens up, it shows you, if it's a book, this is what it needs to have, and then it gives you an example underneath. Same with an edited book, here are your ebooks, chapter in an edited book. So you just keep on going, and it's a great resource because it provides you the examples and what your how your reference should be formatted. So I would suggest printing this up or saving it on your computer and pulling it up every time when you're ready to do your reference page. When I was working on my doctorate, I had the APA manual right in front of me, and I'd always pull it out to make sure that I got that correct. And I know APA can be a pain, but the only way for us to get better at it is to use the tools that we have and to follow it and review the feedback given and make those corrections. The other thing I would suggest is how to do in-text citations. Here are all examples and then additional information on how to cite within your text. So again, they provide great examples here. I know for me, I don't know about you, but I'm a visual learner, so things like this always help me. And so again, it just requires us to take that step to use those resources that we have from the Writing Center and making a real good effort in improving upon APA instead of making the same mistakes. So I hope this helps to clarify the feedback. And like I said, if you would like to redo this assignment for a better grade, you absolutely can. And what I would suggest you do is just have a bullet for each component. So for evolution of technology, you had to have 3 ways, have your 3 bullets here, maybe, some keywords, and then go in detail for bullet 1, how is it evolving teaching and learning? Bullet 2, same explanation. Number 3, same explanation, and keep it organized like that. And then for the technology examples, just provide me, again, a bullet, 3 different examples, and explain underneath here how each example supports your diverse learners. And then with the influence here, talk more to me about how technology makes students independent. I would have your 3 bullets here, and then explain it within the notes section. If you have any additional questions and you want to talk about it further, please let me know. But hope this helps, and let me know if you want to redo this assignment for a better grade and when you think you could have it submitted to me by. Hope you're having a good one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.